Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, bless you.
We have the man that's bringing forth a new idea or a new way of thinking for generation of people to come. His name is Tonic Man. So we'll have him introduce himself and give you a little brief observation or insight into what really he's bringing to the table as a collective of bringing people into a unified state of mind. So clarify and make the people them know what go on, no?
Well, Tonic Man, I Ali, indigenous Moabite from Island Uromi. But briefly, we're showing the people that we have to take back our land, resources, culture, and our liberty. We must have to keep it up at a full standard. You know, reclaiming what was lost or what was taken away during past slavery times. Okay, in the form of colonial era, where this slavery took place, where they take away our land and rename us and give us false identity, which was known as a corporation, government, state. We throw that out and take back our new identity as indigenous descendants. So I, Tonic Man, represent Island Uromi, what they would call St. Vincent and the Grenadines, are here to declare to the world that we can take back what belongs to us and represent our ancestors in the fullest extent. Not making their life what they live and what they put out for us go in vain, but representing them all the way, living back the natural life, eating the natural food, restoring back our cultures, our heritage. Every single thing. We have no time for this fake world with the false processed food and all this ideological teaching, religious audacity. None of that. Go back to the natural state of mind, pureness, dwelling at one with nature, communicating with the earth, the plants, the animals, and our fellow human being as naturally as the way it's supposed to be, enduring all the wonders and the beauties that nature have to offer.
Well
Not,
said.
not being ignorant, and passive like the common people, but absorbing and learning from each other and making a higher step towards enlightening each other, you know, evolving from this negative aspect and the negative way of society and the teachings into the natural way, going back to nature in the fullness, relying on the resources of the natural resources of the earth, using the natural minerals, using the natural resources of every step in the plants, taking them to make whatever we have to make, whether it's a herb for some sickness, disease, instead of going to the pharmacy, we're only relying on the herbs, using the organic based water that doesn't have fluoride and chlorine, using the natural fruits, sugar, and leaving out the sugar that is made from cane, which is not good for you, which causes at least 90% of the disease in your body. We're eradicating all these obstacles that created sickness in the human biological system because of the corporation that exists today and going back to our natural state. So my reason for this is to teach, uplift, and promote naturalness all the way.
Well said. Well said. Well, what we gather here is that you are definitely very knowledgeable on what you're trying to bring forth and what you're trying to achieve with this new movement. So, would like to get a little insight again also on some of the process you already have took in to reach where you reach here. So now it seems like you're trying to take it on a worldwide level. So tell us about some of the things that you
Well,
have.
the first process was to taking back my true identity, which while he was born as a kid, everyone know that parents make choices for you. Sometimes the choice they make could be a bad choice because they brought up not knowing actually the real meaning of forced denationalization, which is when the slave masters take you and take your identity from you and make you a part of the corporation that they create, which today is called a state of government. So my first step was to reclaim back my identity by doing a declaration of my true identity, which is the declaration of me being a Moabite descendant and declaring my true name which is an indigenous Moabite name, which is Tanik I Ali. Ali, which derived from my ancestors Moabite as a last name, and Tanik representing the natural sources and the natural resources of nature to heal the body, and I representing a pure soul. So everything has to have a powerful meaning and go with a very good insight towards uplifting my people. So that was the first step. Second step was to stay wholly and solely with my good eating habits. Eating at the right time, not drinking and eating at the same time, which a lot of people practice will cause them stomach to get bloated. All these things that I had to eradicate and change and bring my kids up in the proper way too, teaching them the right way, letting them know how the world is designed to keep you in the box and have you thinking only in the box, so that we can come out of that aspect and only think free, like a free-minded person, so we could broaden our horizon and strive for higher levels, you know. So these are the steps I took, and in practicing it, I also go out and created the natural herbal medicines in liquid form and also in raw form, teaching the people them how to eat and what to use to heal certain sickness like diabetes, pressure, cancer, arthritis, any other type of disease, including AIDS and all these type of stuff, which did society teach you that they have no cure, but it's basically a lie. They want to sell the product, so they will teach you that so they can keep you addicted to the system. But we don't rely on that. We rely on natural herbs, which the herbs, the healing of the nation, heal every disease exists today. And all diseases that exist are created by the system to keep us down. And as melanin people, we have natural DNA to fight off these diseases. But because of the drugs and the chemical that most of our brothers and sisters keep using when they go into the doctor and getting from the pharmacy, it keeps weakening the immune system. So the system are vulnerable to all the diseases that exist. But if you use herbs like me, your system have so much defense. It back off all these negative energies that is flowing around. You understand? So these are my main steps, and enlightening the people, not only with declaring your indigenous rights, but also eating habits and practicing the good lifestyle. You know? So we had to make a change in every step of the way. We're not just making a word a sound and no action behind it. We have to make action. So it's not just a speech, it's doing everything. So like when a brother say he emancipated himself from mental slavery and he's still a corporate slave, he's not free. So emancipation means you have to go all the way. You gotta be legally free. You gotta be corporately free. You gotta be mentally free and physically free. So in other words, your health, everything has to take place. Emancipation simply means to free yourself every step of the way. Don't tell me you emancipate from mental slavery when you're still carrying a birth certificate which declares that in the 14th Amendment you're an artificial person, void of all civil liberties, void of all natural human rights, and as known as bonds and stock, can't be free. So to emancipate yourself from mental slavery, as Bob Marley said in his song, you have to go all the way. Declare your indigenous rights, throwing back the corporate shit that they give to you, which would say the birth certificate, because you're only known as a slave, because that's the very beginning of denationalization in slavery. That's exactly what slavery is. And taking back your full identity and eating habits, lifestyle, the way you sleep, the way you live, everything has to be changed. So if you say you're emancipating yourself and you haven't done all these things, then you're not completely emancipated. So this is the real shit I'm putting on the plate for the people.
I guess so where you come in a sense now to kind of educate the kind of laymen, the people who are kind of unaware of the full potential of fully emancipating yourself. You have to eradicate yourself or eradicate a lot of things out of your life, like things you may still hold as value as you say your birth certificate, things you might think you need to travel and thing, and which you don't necessarily need, because
you don't need that, because even in your indigenous rights you have the right to create your own travel document.
Right.
So you can make your indigenous ID, your indigenous passport, so that you could move from 1 to 4.
Right.
And not be held back by no state.
Give
and it's
a,
already passed by the United Nations as a declaration for indigenous people to be recognized and fully respected.
right. Give us some examples of some of the things you can do to acquire, let's say, documentation or paperwork that you can travel as an indigenous man, as a
Well,
free
as
man.
an indigenous man, you would go and look at certain sites where they would show you how to create your own passport as an indigenous human being, and you would follow the procedure and do it in your own likely manner with your identification of your race.
You could, I guess, you can also teach, and people could forward or link you up on your Facebook page and different aspects to kind of get
Enlightenment as to to go about it.
how to go about it, because
Yeah.
you will show them out the path or the route to really do these things.
Yeah, there's always a way
Okay.
to move around things.
Mm-hmm.
You can't limit yourself.
Definitely.
You know, you can't just say, "Oh, how am I gonna travel because of the birth certificate?" and you can get a passport for that. But that's owned from a corporation that makes you a slave.
Right.
So if you want to be emancipated all the way, you have to give that up. And then if you feel you want to travel to visit the rest of the world, which you should not be restrictive of, you would go through the right process and you would get what you call an identification card make and a passport make under indigenous regulations, rules, and laws, which would set you free all the way, which already been recognized and declared by the world.
Okay.
So it's just a procedure,
Right,
but it's a
right.
natural way you're doing it, and you're not gonna be held back. So for you to hold on to something that makes you a slave and boast about, oh, you can't travel because if you don't have this, you're only limiting yourself.
So, speak to me about the plans for the future now, and a little of, the lands and these things and the herbs
Plan
and.
to even get more land. Currently only looking at 25 acres of land. And for the indigenous groups that is in Uromi, with the families, we're gonna need more than that. So we still have to put up on the plate with the table with the government and get some agreement working out to get more land.
So currently you have 25 acres of land.
25 acres.
Right.
And we still have to do a bit of agriculturing in a big way. So we would need to get brothers helping to do some farming in various natural food, not the genetic process stuff, but the natural stuff. Get back into the hemp production with cloths, ropes, and clothes, and healing the body from different oils and the gums and stuff like that for cancer, glaucoma, and other type of diseases that the normal people suffer from. So we would be stepping into that route too, and using like a calabash to make the natural bowls and stay away from the plastic stuff and all these stuff.
So you're inviting others to basically join you then?
Yeah, we need as much as they can and as much as they're willing. Come and join us, because we are creating a whole new life in a beautiful, natural way, where you're not gonna just benefit from the natural resources, but your life will be so healthier. The air you breathe will be so cleaner. The water you will drink will be so pure, because we're not gonna use stuff that is created by the system where they dump all the chemicals and all the fluoride and the chlorine in and telling you about it's to kill the bacteria. No, we don't need that. We go direct from the fountains and drink the mineral water, which is natural alkaline water, helps heal the body naturally, help the cells reproduce itself, so any illness will just utterly die. And the natural fruits contain all alkalines. So using these fruits keep the immune system up. So this is the basis, teaching them how to live, what to eat, and going back at the natural resources. Also building back the natural huts. You building back our natural canoe. Going back to the natural way of using as a hunting period where we use the natural arrows, and get back into the natural resources every step of the way. Not just taking what they create, but using everything that we have natural. Stepping away from these artificial stuff, carcinogenic food, and all these stuff that would harm the body. As our body is melanated and we need more green plant food than processed meat products. And the less we use cooked food is the more better and healthier for us. So we have to plant back a lot of fruits on the land. A lot of food, a lot of fruits, going back to the natural way.
All right. So being that now, so so I guess, I mean, as Freeman, you you abstain yourself from the corporate system, which
Completely.
is completely. So I mean, within that though, we still require certain little things to, develop the community and develop the
Yeah,
the
we
whole.
develop. We require a couple little stuff like we would need a cutlass as normal.
Right.
Certain little tools that you
Mhm,
make.
mhm,
But yeah, but in terms of using all these high plastic and high
Pollutant.
processed
Right, right,
we
right,
stay
right.
far from that. We try
Okay.
to create our own natural stuff.
Mhm.
Like we will use the kaboli tree and carve out and make our natural bowls and stuff. Make our spoons out of wood. Go back to these natural stuff.
Right.
Stay away from these processed stuff and these high processed metal, and these, lead processed stuff that's only gonna harm our body.
Right.
We're gonna go back to the yaba pot where we're cooking in the natural clay pots. You know what I mean? Keeping it natural.